Today on Ballistic Burgers, I am making the Chicago burger. Let's get going. So there is a slight chance that I may anger a few folks from Chicago, and I'm really interested to get their take on what I'm about to do here. But this is something that actually I've been wanting to do for quite some time. It's been like in the recesses of my mind. What I'm going to do is create a Chicago burger. And I've done a Chicago dog burger before where I used all the same condiments and everything. And then I had like kind of chopped, cooked hot dog on top as more of a garnish. This time what I'm going to do, again, I've always wanted to do this. I'm going to grind some hot dogs and use that as the patty. Then we're going to finish it off with all of the garnishes and condiments that you would put on a Chicago dog. So, see how this turns out. So I have the grinder here, and I am going to put 3 hot dogs in this grinder. We don't have out Vienna beef. I know those are the preferred hot dogs to use for Chicago dog. I would have to order those, and in order to order them, I have to order like way more packages of hot dogs I need. So that sucks. So I just went with Nathan. Sorry about that. We can pretend these are Vienna beef though. These packed in there. Okay, so 3 of these, I weighed these. 3 of these whole hot dogs, they equaled a little over 4 ounces, so a little over 1/4 pound. What I'm going to do now is run some bread through this, and I'm going to watch very carefully. And I'll see, you'll see too, once the bread reaches the holes of the cutting plate here, then I'll turn it off. That way I'll get all of the ground hot dog meat in the burger. Hopefully no bread. And here's the bread's coming through. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, let's build this patty. So I'm using one of my rings for this. I'm just going to pour that meat in. Like I said, this will be right around 1/4 pound. All right, and there we are. Hot dog patty. Kind of weird. Let's hit the griddle. So I'm running my griddle at medium high. First things first, I'm going to add some beef tallow. There's not a lot of fat in this ground hot dog patty. I don't think this is going to be a very long cook here. It's a pretty thin patty. I don't have, poppy seeded buns, so I'm going with Kaiser rolls, kind of a little homage to the Billy Goat Tavern in Chicago. Those on there for toast. Patty down. I'm going to press it. Since I kind of hand formed the top of this, I just want to make sure that it gets really good contact with the griddle here. You can see it got really soft, so I'm just going to kind of push the little pieces that broke free back into the patty. It's no big deal. A hot patty's kind of working with like Play-Doh. Things can be fixed. You'll notice I am not seasoning this. There is a lot of salt in a hot dog, so this doesn't need any salt. So I'm looking at this and I'm a little nervous about the flip. Actually, I'm a lot nervous about the flip. If I were to put some cheese on here, it would hold everything together, but you know, a Chicago dog doesn't have cheese. I'm trying to keep this as close to a Chicago dog as possible. All right, let's see what happens here. And I'm just really, really nervous about this. I can work with this. I can work with this. It's going to be more like a loose, you know, like one of those loose beef sandwiches, loose meat. It'll be good though. Yeah, lessons learned. I mean, I'm doing this for the first time in front of you, and there just wasn't enough, you know, chunks of fat or anything to just keep that meat bound together. And I'm actually glad. I was sort of second guessing my choice to use, you know, a thin patty, but now looking at this, I'm really glad I didn't go with a thick one, because I think it would have been a lot worse than it is as far as falling apart. It looks very much like, you know, corned beef hash. All right, let's do this. Gosh. Get that down. It's very loose. I'm not leaving anything behind here. Looking at this, again, I think it would be pretty cool if you were to, you know, put a slice of cheese on here. It would hold everything together and achieve what I was hoping to achieve, which it's still going to be very good. It's just going to be different than I wanted it to be, if that makes sense. So let's build this Chicago burger. Thinly sliced dill pickles and some really thinly sliced tomato. Then some green Chicago style relish. And this is a sweet pickle relish. I actually bought this. It's made by a Vienna beef company, a Vienna sausage company. But the stuff, if you want this really green, kind of fluorescent green relish, you add a little blue food coloring to any relish. It'll turn green like this. It's really bright green. So finally minced onion. Some sport peppers. Some celery salt. We'll finish it off with some yellow mustard. And crown it with that nice toasted Kaiser roll. And there we are. The Chicago burger. Chicago dog burger. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but I think it's going to be really good. Again, I do a lot of these videos for the first time in front of you folks, and more times than not they work out, but this one just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I think there's hope for that ground hot dog though. Again, I think putting cheese over it would have solved the problem. It's good. For the most part, it looks like everything's staying put. I'm wearing flip-flops right now, and I think maybe one of my the sports peppers fell on my foot. It's really good though. It does taste very, like a Chicago dog. So yeah, I'm thinking, a hot dog is already cooked, so that's part of the problem as far as getting it to bind together. Just wondering, if I had, like, say, added some, not tallow, but some actual fat into the grind with this, if things would have worked out a little bit differently. But for the most part, I'm saying, will I do this again? I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm not done. I want to do some experimenting, maybe off camera, and see what I can come up with. Obviously, something like a bratwurst would be really cool doing this. And I'm not talking about a smoked bratwurst. I mean, like a raw cased bratwurst would be good. Maybe, like, steam some beer on there. That'd be awesome. All this being said, it does taste really good. I mean, again, if you like a Chicago dog, you would enjoy this. I'm thinking what would really be good, but it wouldn't be a burger, is, a couple of hot dogs butterflied on a bun like this. The Kaiser roll I'm really happy with because of the toast. I can really taste that toast, and it's contrasting so much with how soft this is. So it's really, really good. But to butterfly the hot dogs and cook them on the flat top butterflied, lay them on a Kaiser roll with all the Chicago dog, condiments and everything, I think would be really good. Trying to figure out whether this is a fail or not. I'm leaning a little bit towards, yeah, it was a fail, but not a really bad fail. I mean, there's lessons to be learned here. And again, I think if somebody wanted to do this, you could hold everything together with cheese, but I don't know if it's worth it, honestly. I tried something I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and now I'm a little bit bummed about the way it turned out. But it was good. It was a good tasting burger. So, but again, Chicago dogs, I'm a real huge fan of Chicago dogs. Wow. Anyway, thank you for sticking around. If you did stick around to see how this thing worked out. Sorry it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I had these ideas, and I was very excited about doing this. Now I'm kind of feeling deflated, but it is what it is. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, consider subbing, ring the notification bell, thumb it up if you like it. Even though it was a fail, I hope you enjoyed watching me do this. Keep those suggestions coming in, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.